So people come limuti but tell mutu mo ground room, but after game abanking to by setting more fats, right?
Yeah.
They leave it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's so much that is weighing that jersey that you're wearing and that team. This guy used to give us, some of us never used to even touch our salary because we got so much bonus.
Yeah.
We were spoiled. So Rona go into ko Sundowns Chaka de ana re hlaela mothaneleng ne re feel or we like the best. You might be good for Free State Stars.
Yeah.
But with like Chiefs, you're just an ordinary player. I was like, I can now respect. And like now, I will Wanyana cancel out to the luck. So Chiefs gave me the money and I left. Mr. Motsepe was angry. I don't understand people that would lose a game now and they're going back to Balloon. People love this team. And now you go out there, you lose a ball and you smile. And you think they want to let you be? You can't. Not, it can be Chiefs, it can be Pirates and whatever. You also understand people invest so much into the game.
Yes.
All you got to do, Stijo, is just to go out and give your all.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to the George Mokoena podcast. My name is George Mokoena. I am your host. And this is a place where we have some tough discussions so that we can hopefully give our football some nice conversations, something juicy that you can take into your WhatsApp groups at home, talking to the boys, and we can really improve this game that we have. Today, as you can see, Akaparasutu. Today, Akashapa green screen. Today, let me show you.
Against the overall.
Yeah? No uniform today. Look at all of these signatures. And it could only be because I'm sitting with Injayeke, as is known. Someone who was who played for Wits. Someone who went overseas. Someone who nali ko mamelodi Sundowns, ko Kaizer Chiefs. Look at Swallows. Ushapile try.
I saw Swallows. That was a nightmare and a half. But yeah, I'll let you say it anyway.
And now, sakeni ko di-spacing tsa rona because only podcast lena, but it's okay. I'm taking over his studio today. I want to welcome Prache. JOSTA DLADLA, how are you?
Stijo.
Hi, man.
Shapo jwang twanas.
Ka be ka o kry.
Oh, leboge lace.
Without
lace, you wouldn't be having me here. You know that. Like, leboge lace into Anna. Shout out to Lace.
Actually, this is shout out to Lace because I have Prachosta here thanks to Lace. As you know, there's a competition running where you can win some prizes. Take a lot of vouchers with 250 Rand. You can win flat screen TVs. There's so much that is offered and happening with Lace. All you have to do is look for that those packets. I got one packet thing. Lucas Khatebe is there. They've brought back some some different flavors.
Scan, don't forget, they gotta scan it. They gotta scan it.
So if you look at the top here of the packet, you just have to scan this, and then you'll be able to hopefully walk away with a flat screen TV, or even some take-a-lot vouchers. So look for them. They even have some cool new flavors that are back. Argentinian creamy pepper steak is in, and then of course sour cream and onion, something that everybody loves.
Is that the one that Dalu was talking about?
That's the one that Dalu, the one we can never find.
I like that one. You gotta get that one. I actually want my face on that one.
We need your face on one of these things, Mara. Lace.
Sure.
So, hey, Prache, it's so great to have you on.
Yes,
because for you, it's funny, né? It's funny calling you Prache because I always think of you as that young player. You made us all want to get cornrows at some point. So it's so crazy to have somebody who's been through so much. You've gone through so many teams and all of that. So I wanna start us off here. What do you think of the state of the game right now, especially in SA?
Truth. I think shout out to Mr. Hugo Bruce, doing a great job, bruh. Shout outs to the under-17s for qualifying for the World Cup.
But they
just qualified, right?
Just qualified,
I think the under-20s or the under-23s as well. They wanted in the verge of that as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you can see there's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
I think, like, for me, after generation, I was Stenton. Remember that Olympic squad?
We have a booth
and whatever. Those guys were supposed to be thrown into the deep end, go bafana after the generation, about Doctor the 94 generation. But we just don't know what happened to those guys. From there, we just saw South African football just dipping. to be honest with you, right? We were never the same. I think there was no continuation. We didn't have a plan. It seemed like we didn't have a plan. You know, hence the football in the whaling thing the last few years. I think most people like just kind of like lost interest. Most of us, I never used to watch the PSL at all.
Yeah.
But you can see us going back into it because the game is getting better because we got like, you know, better coaches. Coach Rivero, Pirates. Yeah, you had Pitso who did well for Sundowns as well. Yeah, you had Rulan as well who left now go
Morocco.
Yeah, go Morocco. You know what I mean? So it's slowly coming back. I'm not gonna lie to you. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was not watching the game. But now Bafana plays, I tune in because we see now the boys are fighting. The boys are starting to win. We're not getting embarrassed anymore in the world stage. You know what I mean? Sundowns is playing in the World Cup stage. You know what I mean? That hence South Africa is doing well because now we're competing with the best. So the state of football for me, it's I think compared to 6 years ago, is getting better and for the best. You know what I mean? I'm just crossing my fingers that, you know, we qualify for the World Cup.
Hey, I want to see another World Cup that we qualify by not hosting straight in. But yeah, that's another chat. Prache, when you think about, you know, you've spoken about the under-17s, you've spoken about the under-20s.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone through a period where a lot of the development is I always say that the development feels like it's by luck. It's not by you know, intention. Like you see a player like Orile Mfuke, it feels as though at times, not to disrespect anybody, he got there by himself or by being that much of a talent. What do you think makes the difference? Because I mean, you were at Bovets. You know, if I'm not mistaken, no Dalalebo Mangoba.
I mean, he came after me. I mean,
after you,
he's a young man. Like I know he's taller than me. He's a big boy, you know. But he's a young man.
Win Stanley.
I played Lebo Win Stanley. I found them there. You know what I mean? But I had to literally get myself there.
Yeah.
So they were. I think just being at the right place at the right time. You know, there's a lot of talented players that were more talented than me that never made it.
Yeah.
But I never stopped hustling. I wanted to get into that. I just played. I think I played more. I used to be recruited by the older boys to help them Kadi Sunday League and get some over Tusa. I didn't know that I had talent. I didn't go through the, like, you know, development. There was School of Excellence, Kaizer Chiefs development, Pirates development. Now I came through the hard way. You know, even the people that went through the developments, I actually made it before them. It doesn't really matter where you come from or how you start. At the end of the day, it's if you get an opportunity, are you ready for it?
But what do you think made your mindset that, and how important is mindset? Because, you know, we all know. Hey, we all know the guys. There's 2 or 3 that but they hardly ever make it. And then sometimes you find people that maybe weren't as famous, maybe weren't as, and they're the ones. What makes them different? What makes
crazy,
them
right?
Get
like
up there?
More talented players, they fall off the rope.
Accounting,
you know
accountant.
You know what I mean? So you like, this guy used to be so good, but he was about to get in, but we just lost him, right? And like now Josta comes in, he's just ordinary. Does so well. Because for me, when I first got into the under-19 was Chiefs, I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Then I saw an opportunity to go, oh, okay, I made it here. Started playing there. And then I saw a loophole out, oh, I can make it into the first team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So me playing for the under-19th, then started like, you know, I could see I'm not far anymore. I'm going to push. If anybody's on Motsilenyaka, get to push just to get to that point. Understand? So my mindset was like really crazy. Like and once I was invited to come train with the first team, I was already, I mean, these are big boys. You're talking about Kevin Rafferty. You're talking about, like, you know, Roger Disa was there. Chansey Gondwe, if you know those, maybe do you even know Chansey Gondwe?
A little bit before my time.
So I'll tell you now, Coach Gallants,
oh, Coach Gallants, former Coach Gallants,
former coach Tona was Sundowns. I'll tell you now. Now I need to get the name, bro. Like, this is wrong as a football player, and this is a guy. These are the guys. Lavas was gone. Lavas Tavaide. There was also Kimankana. Machens was there.
Okay.
He just left Pirates.
Yeah.
Now Pirates is old now.
Yeah.
The new boys are coming up.
He was
Tebogo was there as well.
Oh, there's a Pirates.
Yeah, he was with Wits.
Okay.
I got there, first training, I was just, I was not thinking, I couldn't fear anything else because nothing has ever happened to me. I'm young, you know what I mean? Apparently when I got there, everybody just wanted to keep me.
Why would apparently?
No, this is what, this is what I was told.
Yeah.
So after training, I was just going past people. Back and I can take 6 starts, and like, and I'm just jumping around and whatever. Can't get the initiation part of it, like when they welcome you by getting kicked all over the place with training. Yeah. And I didn't see that coming because like, you know, I've never been kicked or I've been kicked. I mean, like, you know, baspana di mining, baspana go di farmong, ba etsa ne di raga tsela, you know. So there's nothing new to me, you know. Suddenly like it's like so these are professionals that I used to watch playing. Now it was for me like, you know, I was happy to be there, but I couldn't like, you know, say I'm not gonna do well today. I've got tomorrow. I had to know the first day for me was really important for me to make it into the team. Did that, and I never looked back from there. And I saw that I've got an opportunity to actually turn professional.
But can I ask you, with the guys that you've just mentioned, Bo Muloi, Bo Machens, how important is it to have that senior teaming? Because like you look at a team like Kaizer Chiefs right now, it feels as though we lack that. Guide. I don't know if maybe there was an influence on you when you met those guys, when you got to be with them.
For me, I Stanton Fredericks, like, you know, played a good role. I mean, I think he took me as a brother, and I had like Oscar Mohotlo, you know, plays he played for Vets, and I had like, you know, Mpumelelo Kametse, Swazi International. And I also had like, you know, the goalkeeper Kimang now. I called him out when I started. So it's important. It's important to have, you can never build a house without like a proper foundation. You know, the young ones need leaders that are gonna, because I knew the game but I didn't know it to that extent. So I needed guidance. I was a diamond but a rough one, so I needed somebody to polish me. So it needs a coach and it needs the senior players that are gonna step out, but they're gonna leave a whole lot of information with you. But now it depends. There are older guys that are not good. We gotta admit to that. You know, there are older guys that are intimidated when they see the young ones come up. There are ones that are evil. True story. You know, as a youngster that you're coming up, you are going to find guys that are supposed to be raising the young ones, but they're not doing that. They're destroying because they still want to be themselves. They don't understand you always going to have your time. Your time's going to and somebody else has to come in. That's just the cycle of life. You know what I mean? And there are those ones that are good, that understand that I've had my time. Now JOSTA is coming, let me help him. Countries like US, countries like, you know, Europe, they understand it. They understand that continuation. They always like, you know, give the older guys to help the young ones to grow. In South Africa, some teams do it, some teams don't do it. So we still have a long way to go when it comes to that. But it is really important to have like, you know, the leaders or the guys that have been there in the team because they understand the culture. You know what I mean? So when you come in, teaming, people will tell you, this is how you be. Teammates are it's a and then, you know, for you being here, out of millions and millions of people in South Africa, you have to understand you were selectively, and like, you know, you that's the way that I'm. So a lot of people don't understand. So like now next year like you know, and I've got so much information that I can give to the youngsters, but you're not using it. And also maybe you might want to buy a player, and you might ask me and be like, no, that boy is not for Chiefs, or that boy is not for Vets. You know what I mean? You might pay me 5,000 Inyan or 10,000 Inyan. But for a lot of teams, they feel like, you know, they're enriching us by doing so. But whatever information that I'm going to give them, it's going to help the team and it's going to bring them more millions. But I think that meant we got to change that. We see Sundowns doing that a lot. You know what I mean? And like the question was obviously, is it important to have the senior players? For me, I think yes, you need senior players to help the team to grow and the young ones to grow.
Marasia, you see when you're interviewing somebody who's a podcaster,
Yeah.
now he's gone into 10 other topics that I wanted to touch, but it's fine. But it's fine.
Sorry, Ntona, sorry. Yeah,
No,
sorry,
as we
Ntona,
move
yeah.
along,
Yeah.
you started mentioning something about overseas,
Yeah.
you know, and the differences. But I first want to start there. You get the chance then to go to Denmark,
Yeah.
AGF. You get a chance to go play that side.
Yeah.
Firstly, how is overseas all it's cracked up to be?
Overseas is really cold.
Yeah.
Overseas is cold and it's really lonely.
I batla jacket, I batla jas.
I batla the bumper jacket.
Yeah.
It's thick. It's cold.
Yeah.
I mean, Denmark was like minus at some point, minus 20 degrees. More like, you know, when you try and like inhale more, it's like oh hlaba. You turn to hemeka kaplan. Like
Castro.
you know, no, like seriously, like
Yeah.
you know, you uta paini so hema so hemeka timing in that.
Yeah.
But for a youngster that grew up go Soweto, I never thought I would end up going to Inafit.
Yeah.
First of all, I never thought I would end up more PSL.
Yeah.
Next thing now, you go Europe. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just crazy, but it's a different world.
Yeah.
You know, all you do there is just train, eat, sleep, train, eat, sleep, play. That's it. And then like most of the time, if Joburg, I can go to Pretoria anytime. I can go to Soweto anytime.
Yeah.
I can go to Val anytime and whatever. Those places are like, you know, secluded. They're like, you said,
Okay, yeah.
Engwida.
Yeah.
Toloro uhlala ko Soweto iwane da. Tropo ki like Bree Street nje, ki tropo ya teng fela. How you roya tropo? You know what I mean? Like o roya tropo o shapa di shopo di mo tseleng e iwane fela, so you do the same thing over and over again. Imagine being there for 10 years.
Yeah.
And o goletse go Cape Town, o goletse go New York, o goletse go Soweto. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not an easy thing. And people always say, South African players are spoiled and whatever. You are going to get homesick. You know? And at the same time you get there as a black kid, you have to understand, for them to come and get you, you got to be something special. Because before they go, they start, so Europe is, before they start looking out elsewhere.
Yeah. They start within.
If they can't find whatever
Yeah.
that they have here, then they can go out. It's not the other way around. Understand? And when you get there also, you always have to prove yourself. Because if you don't do well, they're going to check you out quickly. So it's not an easy thing. So as a football player, it's difficult breaking into the system. But staying in the system, it's even worse. Now, if you have to move to another country, it's even harder than the way it is at all. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. So if you don't have like a strong mentality, you'd never make it.
So is it a situation, because I watched your interview with Talu Lucas Khateb.
Yeah.
And he spoke about how he was initially the guy who was going with Uprafil.
Yeah.
Do you find that maybe, you know, what made you then, I mean, you stayed there for a little bit. What made you adapt so quickly to the thing? What made you stay there? Did you need that?
I needed the money, dog.
And
I needed the money, and I couldn't fail because my dad was going to tell me, my dad wanted me to go to school. And I chose football.
Yeah.
And I know my dad, what type of person he is. If I had to fail, he's going to come back to me and be like, but what do you want from me? I wanted you to go to school, but you chose this.
Yeah.
So for me, fail was not an option.
Yeah.
You know, I had to do well. But also I was excited. I'm far away from my strict parents. Strict. You know, I stay by myself now. It's the first time I left my parents at home. I can get to buy my own PlayStation. I got my own house. I get to eat whatever that I eat.
Yeah.
I'm on my own. My dad is strict. You know what I mean? So for me, it was like, hey, you know, like this gotta work. Because I'm not, you know. So I had no option.
Yeah.
You know, like to fail.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I had my mentality doesn't accept fail at all. When I come in, when I want to play, I want to win. I'm a winner by nature. And I realized that, you know, anything that you give me, even if it's a small challenge that we're doing, you know, I hate winning. I hate losing. I want to win all the time. So I think that mentality took me from one space to the other. Hence, anything that I can go through now, I can still face it. You know, and I know a lot of people be like, cheese boy, this and that. But don't let the looks deceive you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't, like, Teko, I was talking to Teko, and Teko says a whole lot of stuff that resonated with me. I don't want to look like my problems. And I don't look like my problems. I might have the same problems that you have, but you will never see it. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, I think, they let problems kind of like, you know, consume them.
Yeah.
You know? It's going to hurt you. Whatever that you're going through, it's going to hurt you. It's going to take a whole lot out of you, but you got to come out at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, the society don't give a damn about you. That's just the truth.
I'm going to ask you something about that a bit later, because there's a specific situation. But there's something you said there.
Yeah.
You're on your own. You're away from your parents.
Yeah.
Hey, 8,000 vets, nearly 8,000 vets now.
You know the salary, dog. How you know the salary?
Listen, I do my job.
Yeah.
8,000 vets is 8,000 vets. Now you're going that side, and hey, when it's converted,
35,000 Danish kroner. That's what I was getting.
And it was almost double, isn't it? When you
yeah. So that was times 2 then. Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's times 4. So that that's 35,000 times 2 when you change it into South African rand, that was like, what? Do the math. Like it's 70?
70.
Yeah, 70.
So now you're going to 70,000. As a player, what happens when that money comes in the first time, and how do you hold yourself back, manore? Wait king.
See, I like that you literally came up to that point, because if I'm an alcoholic, I get 70,000. My parents don't know that I drink.
Yeah.
And now I get that 70 grand and I'm overseas alone. What do you think is going to happen? I'm going to be drinking, right?
Yeah.
If I love strip joints, I'm going to be at the strip joints most of the time with that money. Unfortunately, like, you know, I wanted to have the PlayStations that I never had. I think I bought the biggest TV ever.
When you were a strict kid, I was a strict kid.
Yeah.
The TV, little PlayStation.
No, but my dad never bought me a PlayStation. I bought it for myself. I asked my dad to buy me a PlayStation. He was like, I asked my dad to get me a DSTV, like Mnet decoder, DSTV decoder.
Yeah.
I literally, like, you know, DSTV. I had to work for that. So my dad taught me those type of things. Sorry, you gotta, if you want something, you work for it. So I was lucky in that sense. Sorry, the money that I got, I bought the N1s. Remember the N1?
Oh yeah,
N1.
Okay.
N1 was like was on top back in the days.
Yeah.
So I love hip hop. So I liked hip hop clothes. I bought myself, like, you know, Fubu clothes, N1,
the Jordans.
The dog. I shopped around every day. I used to even, like, you know, I think like in the case they give blow at 35 grand.
Yeah.
Before a month if it, you know, but I've got food, I bought the TVs, I got the PlayStations, and I shopped around so much that I used to go to the club Kilo Adima even more money, because then the last week of but the money went to the good stuff.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Hence I came back home, I had my stuff. I didn't come back with the suitcase. The Fubu, the N1 fella. And we see that a lot with, like, a lot of South African or African people going overseas. He had nothing to do. I came back with a whole lot of furniture. My dad was looking at me like, I was like, no, dude, like, I lived there. Obviously, like, these are the stuff that when I came back, I chose to come back. I came back with furniture and all those stuff.
Yeah.
So that was me. Now, if you have a kid that didn't think like me, he would just come back, tracksuits ko HEF, Levi jean. You know what I mean?
I nwele
chelete kaofela. So it's all about the mentality. Most kids, in fact, there's nothing wrong with alcohol. But if it ruins your life, then there's a problem with it. If it controls or it stops you from getting where you want to get to, that's where the problem is. You know what I mean?
Do you think that there's any... You know, we have this problem in the league quite a bit at home here. Do you think that there's anything clubs can do or agents can do in management? Do you think that support structures and things like that are important? And do we give that to our players?
Support structure, we need to do that. We need it a lot, and I don't think a lot of teams do that for their players. Counseling, be it counseling, because football plays like a huge role in your players performing well. Imagine a player that misses a penalty in the final. He'll never be the same again. It's going to take him 2-3 games because he's thinking, I've made my team lose. the teams don't think, or I don't get to a counselor.
Yeah.
I'm a counselor, sharp.
Yeah.
We've got a final coming up. We're thinking a lot. We've got anxiety. I don't know if I'm in a starting lineup. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff. I might be fighting with my girlfriend, the fans, this and that.
Yeah.
We need that because overseas, that's where I think they beat us in terms of some of the. If they don't have it, I know some of the players they do it themselves. Sometimes it's not about the team; it's about yourself also to kind of enhance yourself in a lot of areas that or okay, team might not be giving me that. I'm getting paid, right?
Yeah.
Let me get a counselor. Let me get a personal trainer. Let me get a dietitian and all those type of things. Support, yes. You really need support, and most of the players need to do that, and most of the teams need to get support for their players. I can say that, but if you have people that are running the clubs, they don't think like I'm thinking. We're not gonna win. Hence, you need players like Bolukasi, Bopeni. They seen the best, best of the best. Imagine just putting that person. Mopila how as an owner and just ask him, fella, I'm thinking of doing this and that. He'll tell you, no, that's not gonna work. If it works, he'll say yes, it's gonna work because he's seen it before. You understand? That we're talking about those senior players being part of the team. Now that's where the key role comes in when we are part of the team, not only for the players, but also we can also help the team
experience,
to grow. And they can end up Team Elore, it's nowhere, a Gallants can end up being like a Kaizer Chiefs, can end up being a Pirates, because why? They've got the right people around them in the decision making.
Do you think that maybe I'm not gonna talk badly about the teams or anything, but do you think that the infrastructure of South Africa is maybe missing those type of things? Because like I said earlier, it doesn't feel like there's a ladder to get there. It feels like and maybe you might, and then you end up with a situation where you have a Tembazwane who finds his top form later on in life,
28 to 25.
And that's just because even personality wise, Kimutu all is so.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's things that we need to be implementing that what's the difference between that side and here? If you can just expand on that.
First of all, how many teams? There's a lot of teams that don't even have clubhouse.
Yeah,
clubhouse, the NHRena. With no disrespect to Pirates, I don't know if they've got a NHRena. I mean, Pirates, it's a big institution.
Yeah,
understand? By now they should be having their own stadium. I mean, Stadium Sebastian Orlando Stadium, that's a municipality stadium. You know what I mean? It's branded as a Pirates stadium and whatever. Kaizer Chiefs should be having their own stadium.
Yeah.
At least they've got a clubhouse. How many teams have clubhouse?
True.
It's gotta start from there. When you thinking, I mean, Royal AM, I mean, yes, they were doing a lot of things wrong, but that team they had the structure.
Yeah.
It starts with the structure, understand? Yeah. So if you have the foundation right, other things you can add up. Someone like team say they just the tlubulela ko tlasa ditlhare, or the tlubulela ko municipality, stadiums.
Yeah.
I think we can get away with that because the municipality is willing to do that. In Europe, each and every stadium has got their own staff, own stadium, own club. Clubhouses are crazy. I'll tell you something, Stichone. Go certain team that I played for, that trainer two in the morning after training. We've got a break in between, and we're gonna train again in the afternoon. So what happens to that break after the first session? Leisure lunch, and then you're on your own. Some people will sleep in the cars. You got nowhere to sleep,
and there's no time to go and do other things.
And you don't want that.
Yeah.
As an owner, I don't want you to be in the streets.
Yeah.
If you come in. Now you've got PlayStations. There's a living room there. There's coffee. There's whatever. There's PlayStations. There's beds.
Yeah.
Where you can sleep and get ready, sleep and then get ready for the second session. A bed. So having the impeto or train.
Yeah.
We like those type. So now you have Motaung Benny McCarthy that played Ajax. That's seen stuff like that. More players go into the clubhouse, they have breakfast.
Yeah.
The masseuse is there, they get massaged, they get strapped on, and that's 2 hours before training. You know what I mean? They are there,
yeah.
People think when ke sponsor house
Yeah.
podcast
Yeah.
siya o tletse da o pressa di computer ke ena etsa di camera tsa di span kaofela, there's an engineer, there's whatever. Rona we chose this ke sponsor rona, and people don't understand. People ha ba mpotsa re ke ya kae ne ke gym ne ke sa re ke ya gym ne ke re ke ya span because Diski paid my bills.
Yeah.
Took my kids to school. I got everything out of Diski. So when I go to training, if I'm gonna be there the whole day, at least let me be comfortable. And once we start, like, working on the foundation of all these type of things and making sure that the clubs are properly structured, and lead the boss in Yugo for sure. I see Yugo this game. Because running a football team also, people think now like 100 million that family out, it will blow. We need, like, Mr. Motsepe one time, he used to tell us when I was still at Sundowns, sorry, I don't make money at more this.
Yeah.
He works at a loss, and he's willing to do that. What for the greater of the badge? Yeah. For Sundowns to beat he wants to beat Pirates, he wants to beat Chiefs, because those are the two teams.
Africa.
Yes, he wants to be top of Africa, because these two teams have set the standard.
Yeah.
Now Mr. Motsepe is coming in and saying, you've done it best, I'm gonna do even better than you guys, even if I lose the money. So you can't just utleka motolore upa team utleka manga business ar chaela ke scam wa tla rona le di million yana tse few a reke team, and you think it's gonna do the right things. No, there's no way.
I wanna, before we come back, while we're Orkant, our friends at Lays, but again, it is the Champions League, man. But Champions League, we're now in the semi-finals. Got some interesting matchups there. Inter Milan's playing Barcelona. Arsenal's got PSG.
Yeah.
Firstly, Osapotanga.
I grew up supporting AC Milan.
Okay.
Back in the days when the AC Milan was really, it was set off.
Yeah.
That AC Maldini.
Yeah.
And I started playing football. I literally, watch football different, because I'll be having a two players. Say it's Inter.
Yeah.
So I look at football different, But they playing against
the Inter's going to be playing against Barcelona.
Yo.
And do you know what's great? What's funny? Inter Milan is in for the league. They're number one in the league.
Yeah. Yes.
They're in the finals of the Coppa Italia. Now they're going to try and
treble.
They're going to try get the treble.
But
Barcelona, Leona, same situation. Who do you have in that game?
Now you got the Italians that specialize in defense, and you got the Spaniards that specialize in attack.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there's gonna be some ankles broken in that game. Italians are bad attack. It's gonna be a tough one, but they break you.
Yeah.
They believe in that, one defense. That's why they speak. They understand what they build from the back. For them, winning it starts from the back upwards. And we all know what Barcelona, they just want to suffocate you, just coming at you.
Yeah,
right through. It's going to be a tricky one, but I'll go with Inter on this one.
Do you know what's funny? I'm also going to go with Inter. Yeah. And maybe it's just because I've got a history with Barcelona.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that now. But I think even the last time when we saw this fixture, when they won the treble under Mourinho, it was also a situation where Barcelona was on fire.
Yeah.
And Mourinho was like, we're going to. So I'd love to see one of those happening, because Lautaro Martinez and those guys have been playing out their skins.
Yeah.
That's Lautaro Martinez. I want to see those guys.
Is he Argentinian? Sorry to
I think he's Argentinian. Yeah, the bull. He's Argentinian.
He's Argentinian. What a player, bro. What a player. So you see, senior team mentality.
Yeah.
Italian league is the only league that respects senior players.
Yeah.
That respects experience.
Yeah.
South Africa, once you turn 30, only Tembers one about to now, Ramtsiba what chase retire.
At least don't feel a contract.
Shout out to Sundowns for giving him a contract. But this is a player that can still give you 4 more years. Why not?
Yes.
Just do that. Make sure by the time he's done.
Or even have somebody come after him. Imagine being with
Yeah.
Utembazwane while you're on the come up.
learn from the Italian teams. You know what I mean? Because these guys, we might not give you like the 90 minutes, but we'll give you the best 60 minutes that we can give you. And sometimes when you need the experience now, with no disrespect to them, because abana guidance, game management you know, sometimes more now they need to like shut. I've seen that happening with Chiefs.
Yeah,
a lot of times they winning 2-0, 1-0, last 10 minutes they lose the game. Why? Game management.
Yeah,
because everybody's just Lawina. All you have to do is to protect that one goal.
Yeah,
that's 3 points.
Yeah,
but you still want to go forward to look. Now the experience then comes in. Experience. They're like, hey guys, calm down. See, the foundation is key.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, for me, the Italians, you know, shout outs to them for them respecting. Most of the time, they always go for like, you know, over 30 players. A lot of teams let go. They take them. And now you see these boys two seasons later. The guy already the Mamoradilo of top goal scorer go Italian league. He's a massive midfield player. It's crazy, right? Yeah. So Inter for me.
But then I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. I've been an Arsenal fan ever since the first day he won a Thierry Henry.
Declan Rice.
Oh, yeah. Cooks better with the lid on, but anyway, Real Madrid found out. So
Teko said it. Teko said it. The last interview that I had with him, he was like, Teko hates Real Madrid.
Yeah.
He's a Man City player.
Oh,
he's
a Man City
fan. And also, why
am I forgetting, man?
Yeah, but he was saying Real Madrid is not coming. I thought Real Madrid were going to change it. You know, because I mean, we've seen them doing it over and over again. But the way Arsenal is playing right now, they deserve it, dog.
But you know what's funny? They're coming up against PSG.
Yeah.
And I think the two things, the thing that these two teams have in common.
Yeah.
Wait, PSG, illustrated star, Kylian Mbappe, Messi, and they found sort of a team togetherness. Bobo Dembele are shining. Arsenal also doesn't necessarily. I mean, we've got so many injuries that Merino.
Yeah.
But that team seems to be together. How do you think these two teams are going to match up against each other?
That's going to be crazy because you mentioned something. Before everybody played around, let's say when Messi was there.
Yeah.
Everybody got the ball, gave it to Messi.
Yeah.
Messi had to do stuff,
yeah.
right? Mbappe, when he was there, Mbappe wanted to be the one scoring the goals for PSG.
Yeah.
So it had to be Mbappe to score, right? Now PSG has found a way to say we are all together. We work for each other. We're a team. Everybody's working for each other now. Now, with all the big players leaving PSG, you thought it's not going to do well. Suddenly, the so-called small players, they take it all the way to the semis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a different story with Arsenal. Arsenal, for me, they've been unlucky for the last... Since Arteta took over.
Since 2006. I cried that final, Prachi. I cried.
If there's one coach that I just want him to win it because he's just gone through a lot.
Yeah.
And he's done so well for Arsenal. I mean, he lost the league 3 times. Got the last 5 games. This guy, like, you know, like, you know, he's just hogging on, like, you know, the league. Like, number 1 position for the rest of the season, and he's going to lose it. Got the last 5 games. Can you imagine the stress that this guy has been through for the last 6 years?
And the pressure, because it's 5 years now.
Yeah.
I think it was, he finished number 8, number 5, and then number 2, That is...
Do you know what I mean? I would want him to win it just because I've seen what he's done for Arsenal. And also those players, they've gone through a lot. But if they really want it, they have to go through what? Another PSG team that's determined to shut a lot of people out.
Yeah.
Left
I know who you're talking about.
I don't know that team World Cup what's the name?
I know you, on the left,
I don't know left in for me, if they can just close
okay, Dembele.
I mean, sorry, Dembele, sorry. Yeah, Dembele who he left Barcelona, and like since he go PSG, he's just doing wonders for PSG. He's doing well. You know what I mean? For me, if they can just shut those players out, they will win the game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I mean, Arsenal, if they can really bring back that magic, Nagoba Shapa, Real Madrid at home. If Declan Rice comes out again, yeah, well, they can win. But I mean, it's anybody's game, you know. But I'll go with Arsenal for this.
And
That's
remember,
because,
guys, Lays wants you to go with them. So, get barcode. You have to scan this little barcode at the top, and you stand a chance to win Take a Lot vouchers worth 250 rand, and then also flat screen TVs, so you can watch the final scene on there. So look out for these packs. It's the packs with Bo Lucas Ratebe on the front. There's a Messi pack. There's 2 new flavors that have been brought back: Argentinian creamy pepper steak, and then also sour cream and onion. Hey, apparently
that one.
Yeah, I've been looking. That just tells you the quality of what Lays is doing. But back to the conversation, Prachi. Ritswile from overseas were coming back.
Yeah.
And you come back to a Mamelodi Sundowns. You come back to a Sundowns that Motsepe, I believe, had just taken over fully, if I'm not mistaken. Tell me a bit about that. What is that like? You know, he's a new owner. Obviously, he's so ambitious. You hear how he speaks. What do you think about your time when you arrived at Sundowns? What is that like?
Chicho, first of all, let me tell you this. If any kid had to be in the same situation that I was in, choosing to come back, you have to understand Sundowns bought my contract out. I still had a season.
Wait. But they bought the contract that is Danish.
Yeah. So they literally bought me out.
Yeah.
They found me in, I think I was the space in the Kilimoso and I was homesick.
Actually, can we speak about that before we go too far?
Yeah.
The homesick thing. Always put on South African players to say that, you know, Bernard Parker, homesick, Keegan Dolly, homesick.
It's crazy though.
What, explain to us, because us as fans, man, we look at it and we go, he's playing that side, Homnati.
Compare Congo. It's ako Libombashu.
Yeah.
Utile auna nix. If auna foko le auna nix.
Yeah.
Utswere autitso anko regepat ya na go bua ka Hond.
Yeah.
Nna ke tswa Soweto. South Africa mnata uthiaka. No, true story. South Africa mnata. He wa pora gara.
Ke go pora.
Wa pora.
Kana o chilo re ke strata fela moliate.
Wa bata. Oba depressed. True story.
Yeah.
But if I had to reverse the situation and I had a mentor or I had an agent that really cared and saw the vision, could have said to me, come here, you're missing home, go home for 2 months.
Yeah.
Go home for a month and you'll come back. I wish I wouldn't have taken that decision. I wish I would have stayed. But because of I had nobody to advise me on the decision that I made when I accepted the Sundowns offer. You know, I thought it was right, but once I remember the second week when I was at Sundowns, I'm like, what did I just do? But I already signed the contract, so I had to make it work. Now that changes the whole thing. Now I get to a situation where you got an owner that just bought from the Chickless family.
Yeah, Natasha Chickless and them. Yeah.
And this guy's got a vision of making Sundowns the best in Africa.
Yeah.
He wants to make Sundowns be like Real Madrid or Barcelona. He wants to change the way people look at how South African players are being paid. Because South African players, when he took over, were still getting paid like, you know, small salaries. He comes in and he's like, and the people that have been running the game, they call him out. They're like, what are you doing? Why are you paying these guys so much money? What are you doing? You're
making us look bad.
Yeah,
man.
you know what I mean? That's true story.
Yeah.
He didn't care, bruh. You know? He understood that, you know, most of us, the money that we're going to make in 10 years of career, 10 years that you're going to have, the money has to last you for the next 70 years.
True.
With no disrespect to the ones that started the league.
Yeah.
You know, but they paid players. Players didn't... when I was at Vets, I think the most of the players, the highest paid players were getting 20,000, 15,000. Now Mr. Motsepe comes in, he gives people 200,000.
What a jump.
And now you still have people at certain teams, big teams that are getting paid 20,000, 25,000. Yes, because they were getting 5,000 where they come from. Now suddenly it's a big jump.
Yeah.
But it's still not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He spoiled us, bro. You know, we traveled the world. You know, he was hands-on. You have to understand. Like, you know, he wanted the best for us. Traveled in like jets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've already pictures of the private jet. Even now, the team now.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, where a team goes to Polokwane, they playing on a Wednesday and a Saturday. They get like, you know, a chartered flight. Because they don't want the guys to be like, you know, going through the Chusa airport and all those type of things. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand that if you look after your players are the key thing for the team. Without the players, there's nothing. Yes, you understand they are the fans. And there's an owner. The owner understands that, you know, it's not about him. It's about the players.
Yeah.
So that guy, dog, like, you know, he even wanted us to drive the best cars. He would say, if you're driving, he used to like shout at surprise most of the time. Matsamaka conquest. Surprise, I'm paying you a lot of money for you to be driving such a car. You know?
What's safer, man? No.
Surprise
was safer. Surprise, nasari kid.
True story. He ended up buying like an Audi A. Is it A something? It's a nyan.
Yeah.
You know, A3. Yeah. He ended up buying it, but the conquest was still there. I'm paying you guys a lot of money. You guys must buy houses. Do you understand what this going?
Yeah.
Are you buying houses? I'm paying. You know, this guy used to give us. Some of us never used to even touch our salary because we got so much bonus.
Yeah.
We were spoiled, you know, and we were in camp, but it was like we were at home. And I like that because I come from a culture where we never used to camp. Europeans, like, you know, they camp only when they play away.
Yeah.
But at home, they meet a pre-match meal.
Yeah.
At the stadium, pre-match meal, pre-match talk, and then
Okay.
Go stadium, like, you know, la relaxa, and from there, downstairs. Go the changing room from, you know, that's what happens. I was used to that culture.
Okay.
I'm not used to, like, you know, getting locked up like I'm in prison. There's like 20 securities. But you know, you're like, dude, I'm just taking a walk more hotel, you know? How do you make someone? I was like, hey. Buloi. I was like, I didn't know respect. And like now, I will wanyana cancel out to the like. I don't know how true is that, you know. I'm used to the culture where I wake.
Western Peru feeling
now. Wanyana ka fita mo. Yay, wanyana. Baka mula wanyana. Baka makama. Wanyana afiti mo taneling. Yay, baka yo. You know. True story, though.
Yeah.
Now I come back to a culture where like. Hotel suko kempu muna like tabalotsa go kamore muna aroja the security momoraro na, you know. True story. And for me, I think that mentality's got to change, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you see rugby players playing a big game. Ba robetse go Sentin City somewhere. During the day, but through the mall. They shopping. They whatever. But that comes with the freedom comes with a whole lot of responsibility.
Yes.
As well. You know.
Do you think that plays a role? Because when you mention, I speak about the Springboks a lot on my show. But when you mention things like that, how important is it for the players to get training? That wait, guys, like for example, something small. If you've ever watched the Springboks, media days, thing, you don't see everyone talking. See, we won.
Yeah.
Eben Etzebeth, maybe we won. They've created those boundaries, or guys.
Yeah. Stay away.
Yeah, do you think that we missed that in SA?
The structure is important, bro. Like for anything that you do, be it business, be it soccer and whatever, you gotta have people that know captain ke ona ibuang.
Yeah.
Media, yeah. Not just like I'll do more talking on the field. You know what I mean? Leadership is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Captain, the armband is not for everybody. You know, you might look at somebody who like, but I can make Josta a captain.
Yeah.
But Benson can make a better leader.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
Because Benson kill time. He
Yeah.
likes to be the time, principal, and you know what? He likes that.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to be telling people like, hey, my friend, I'm playful. Like as it is, I'm just a playful type of guy. You know, it does I'll do the talking on the field, then I'll be your captain.
Yeah.
I will go out there and like, you know, give him my all, give you my 200%.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm the captain on the field. But some people or manager you're not gonna get there. You know what I mean? So structure is key, but at the same time, respect, Utaka.
Yeah.
Respect and responsibility. Let me ask you this: how many kids come from good families and they were raised well?
Very few.
Very few, right?
Very few.
Yeah. Even those ones that are few, they were raised well.
Yeah.
Like taught principles about life, what not to do, what to do.
Mara when you're allowed,
Exactly.
when the leash comes off,
Yeah.
and you've got
So,
freedom.
It's peer pressure.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, peer pressure, I think it's a scam. It's
Yeah.
all about your decision making.
Yeah.
We all go through stuff that we have to make decisions and be like, oh, this guy's taking drugs. I'm sitting with you, whatever. And then, like, I can decide and say, but I'm
I
not
get it,
taking it.
yeah.
But I said, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to what? To do what you want to do, to decide on good things or not.
Yeah.
Hence, when we are camping, even if look at kata jwang le jwang, but if I know what is not right, I'm not
Yeah.
going to do that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's the principle that one has. That's what I believe in.
How important is, you spoke about Ntate Motsepe.
Yeah,
You've played for a couple of clubs.
yeah.
How important is that culture and attitude? And do you feel it? Like, for example, Ntate Motsepe, you can tell that he's a very driven.
Believe you me, yeah.
And how does that influence you from the top down? And do you think that club culture is also important? And a lot of clubs don't have cultures.
Apparently, Pirates has it. I talk to a lot of boys. They're like, if we sign it out, this guy's sit you down and they tell you about the history of the club.
Yeah.
At Chiefs, I know the chairman. I mean, he's old now. The chairman used to we used to sit. But they used to talk to us most of the time when we were playing the derby.
Okay.
Derby, I didn't tell you about the derby.
Yeah,
You know? But it's got to be more. I think it's got to be more. The Chiefs culture for you, about sign, about do this is Chiefs. This
Yeah.
it's a guy. It's a guy. You understand or how can I
Yeah.
so many people have worn the number 9 jersey. This mama. Understand? So I want me wearing this jersey comes with a whole lot of responsibility. Culture is key, and you need to make sure that there are a lot of people that are coming into your house,
Yeah.
and you want them to understand the culture that you guys are running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can never, if without culture, Antoine, without where we know we come from, there's no going forward. You know what I mean? So I think for me, it's really key. What is the question
do you
again?
think that enough clubs
Oh yeah.
have a culture?
Yeah. You're saying Mr.
Yeah,
Motsepe.
Motsepe and Ntate Motsepe is.
So rona ko ntwena ko Sundowns sa tshaka de ana re hlaela mothaneleng ne re feel or we like the best. One thing about us, we were so arrogant. We knew like no, dude, we're gonna beat you.
Yeah.
And we want that bonus of 20,000. And we shared amongst kaofela rona, like we knew everyone was gonna get that cut by the
Yeah.
way. People sitting on the bench.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're getting that money.
Okay.
That's what used to happen. So we no feel. I think even the teams they could feel that aura Morona, because we were like, no, we're the best.
Yeah.
We were the best picked players to make this Sundowns team.
Yeah.
So you are at Pirates. Kabo yes, we right on mo. Go Chiefs can to remote Sundowns or club once you meeting the best.
Yeah.
The best of the best now.
Yeah.
That's what used to happen. So Mr. Motsepe's leadership reflected on us. And we just didn't we just didn't want to look like it. We wanted to dominate you on the field.
Yeah.
So it was all about dominance for most of us. We wanted you to talk about us after the game, or those guys. You know what I mean? So some of us, money motivated us.
Yeah.
Some of us, the dominance, dominating you motivated us. So there was a lot of things that motivated us on the day. But I think 90% of the guys there, it was all about the money.
Do you know what I always say?
Yeah.
I always say that we have conversations about culture quite a bit, even just in general life.
Yeah.
And I always say that, you have to spark the culture first.
Yeah.
So it might be a situation of money that we're playing for bonuses. And then 5 years from now, you may not be explicitly playing for bonuses, but now the club is like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So that culture of winning.
You have
like,
to spark
the
it.
culture of winning. Like, so when you look at Sundowns, they've created that culture of winning.
Yeah.
You know, dominance and just winning stuff and whatever. So like you can see those boys, they just want to go out there, just win. Not that the other teams don't want to do that.
Just want it more.
These ones, they just want it more. You know,
Yeah.
it seems like they just want like, you know, success for them, just playing in the World Club Championship. Like they just want to be part of that. You know what I mean? They want to be part of Bafana. They want to be a face of a certain brand.
Yeah.
You know, these boys are getting paid big money, way far from where we used to get paid. I mean, what else can push you? You getting paid so much money.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just go out there and give your all.
But I want to ask you about another pressure.
Yeah.
Because you were there. Okay, Tate Motsepe takes over, and we know that those years, Tate Motsepe didn't mind.
Yeah.
How much did that play into this, knowing that go benching, hona le motho, how fitla, hona le bo surprise.
Yeah.
You know that at the end of the season, le ka January, go ka kena ba bang.
Believe you me, you'll sit on a bench and you know what you deserve to sit on a bench.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
You know when you're sitting on a bench, you're like,
Yeah.
I can't complain. If you competing with surprise, like, you know, and he's doing what he's doing, I'm supposed to be playing. So I make sure, for me, I was never a bench warmer when I started. I wanted to play all the time. Yes. With no disrespect to the guys that are sitting on the bench, they're my teammates. I love them, but I love myself more. And as a sports person, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, we are competing for the position. There might be 4 of us competing for the same position. I want to be number 1. I don't want to be number 4.
Yeah.
I don't care about who wants to be number 2, number 3, number 4. I always wanted to be number 4 because I'm working for my family. I'm building my family's legacy, the DLADLA legacy. You know, my family name is going to come before your family name.
Yeah.
So you have to understand, true story.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not happy that you play.
Yeah.
So if you're not strong mentality, spiritually, everything, you'll never make it. And also to make sure, even if you can come up with the spiritual stuff, spiritually I'm okay. Health-wise I'm okay. Physically, I'm more than, believe me, I'm stronger than you. And also, you have to understand, I'm playing for the team that signed me and believe that I'm going to do the best for them. I can't fail.
Yeah.
The fans are looking at me. They want me to play. And the opponent wants to beat me, and I have to prove the opponent. That's why you're playing for that team. Now I'm playing for this team. I'm going to dominate you. After this game, you're not going to be able to watch me. So understand that mental thing is wrong. So pressure will always be there. It's how one takes it.
Do you find that with different clubs, there's different pressures? In terms of, like, we're going to get into Chiefs now, but I'm talking about Mamelodi Sundowns. You know, for example, you don't have that much fan pressure at Sundowns. It's an internal pressure. Do you find that players are not, or the players that you've seen or people you've spoken to, do you find that sometimes they're not ready for those things? Like you've now spoken about spiritually, physically.
Yeah.
Do you find that sometimes we underestimate those things, especially
we don't look at
clubs?
those things. If you played for Maruma Gallants, you're a top player there. It doesn't mean not everyone can be good for Sundowns, Chiefs or Pirates. You might be good for Free State Stars.
Yeah.
But with like Chiefs, you're just an ordinary player. Because that's a different jersey. Now, this is a whole new family. Like, we talk culture, we talk moti. True story, George. Let me tell you this. I played in the game. George comes from a different family that uses moti.
Yeah.
We talk compete at JOSTA, we talk go Chiefs. We talk Spanish how. So there's a jersey number 9. It's 10. So look at Spanish different motis. They've left their legacy. So people come limuti, but tell mutu mo ground room. But after game, abanking chwe by setting more fats, but right?
Yeah.
They leave it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's so much that is weighing that jersey that you're wearing and that team. When you come there, you think you're just gonna come in then udlale fair. I was ready, you'll never play. It takes a real man and like a strong heart, and like real crazy mind to say, if JOSTA did it, I'm gonna do it even better than JOSTA.
As part of
it's part of Ntwena. A lot of boys are not ready for that. They think, I've signed, I'm getting 200,000. I used to get like 20,000, now I'm getting 200,000. I've arrived. No, your journey is only beginning because now you've signed for another different team. Forget about where you come from.
Yeah.
So as a football player,
yeah,
unfortunately, or as a sports person, unfortunately, you prove yourself every day. With no disrespect to the people that are sitting in the office, I think you can go in and headache, you can press on a computer, you act like you.
Go basic note.
I'm judged by my performance every day. So there can never be rest for me. When I'll tell you my journey. My day used to be like this for like 20 years. I leave the house at 6. I take my kids, I leave them, go crèche. You cannot gym, you
Kabuma 7.
Kabuma 7.
Yeah.
8 o'clock, kinka shower. I have like oats, go gym or whatever. Or oats, whatever. I eat, go gym li team now. Get there, gym li team. After gym li team, I have lunch. From lunch, get to la tabana baka ko crèche, ke ba isa ko tlung, ke a robala. In the evening, ke kena gym again. Are you gonna compete with me over ka Saturday?
No way.
Do you understand the mentality?
No, I think it was Kobe who said, by the time you've done 5, I've done 10.
Exactly. Now you got a guy that comes from Free State Stars, comes in, like to ka team pass, ujimali team.
Now let's start.
Yeah, let's start. Proper, good player. You might look at him and say, better than JOSTA.
Yeah.
I told you my day already how it is. And he comes in, he trains with the team. After our coach ere, we are done. He goes in, watching because he wants to go drink a beer. Compared to a guy that trains 4 times a day.
Yeah.
And then you expect him to do well? No ways.
So do you find, this is actually interesting, because do you find that a lot of players are like that? Because I often use the example of, I like watching the NBA, I like watching the NFL.
Yeah.
And you look at a guy like Steph Curry, he's got his own shooting coaches on top of the ones from the team. He's got his own shooting coaches. Yeah. He's got his own things.
Yeah.
Do you find that there is that work ethic as a player? Is it there in the league?
It'll be disrespectful for me to say no. I hope as a professional player you have to do that. Yeah. I hope the guys are doing that. They're taking it further. And I would tell you, I'll go for a massage. Once a week, I'll go for a massage. Full body massage. Like,
yeah.
Like, Thai massage and
once a week. Deep.
Proper, deep tissue massage, all those type of... Do you understand? And then you need to get your own physio. There's a physio contrainer. Yes, physio contrainer, clubhouse. You can still use him.
Li
40, but one problem you go and work with that person. You can have your uspanaka or striker. You can have your own shooting, like a striker coach.
Yeah.
That when you get a half a chance in the game, Ramakala, boom, boom, goal. We're thinking, hey, this guy is such a star, but we don't understand how he's poured in so much work during the week that when he gets a certain chance in the game, it becomes familiar with him and be like, I've seen this before, I've done this before. It becomes you can never be a golfer marolo train olomata or golfer maroamata ushapa di 200 ushapa di marathon umata di marathon 20Ks half marathon every day ufeed omelets blind marco passa ball pa la ko trepa ball. You don't understand the blueprint of the team, what the coach wants you to do.
Yeah.
You are fit. You can outrun everybody, but you don't understand the game. So you put more work on yourself because you're getting paid. It shouldn't be anybody favor, but it's about you. You have to understand you're competing with a lot of other guys. True story. And we're not to relax, and you can't. You know what I mean? So it comes from you, Otaka, if you really want it. And I think most of the boys, they might be good, but mentally they're not right, or maybe the advice that they're getting is not really good enough for them to take them to the next level.
I wanna on the point of pressure, I want to move into now. Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
Tell me what it's like to. Firstly, you got the call. You've signed the contract. What's it like to join Kaizer Chiefs?
Massive, bruh. Now, this is the biggest brand in Africa. One of the biggest compared to Ahly. You know, Pirates is old.
Yeah,
Pirates is old, but it's not bigger than Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know, you start seeing Chiefs winning games, then you understand how big that
the economy gets better. Petrol
True
goes
story.
down.
You know what I mean?
We're happy as a nation.
Sundowns, they do well,
Yeah.
money-wise and all those type of things, but fan base-wise, you can't compare them with Chiefs.
Yeah.
I would say. You know, and I found out that, you know, how I ended up go Chiefs, it was, I had a conversation with Brian. I used to share a room with Brian for like 7 seasons, go Sundowns. He was my roommate.
Yeah.
You know, my best friend, you know, Manaka. Love that dude to bits. I mean, and I sat down with him. I'm like, Sundowns don't want to give me the money. Chiefs have come through.
Yeah.
So literally, Sundowns wanted to give me, the guy that I was negotiating with said he's going to increase my salary by 5%. Mr. Motsepe didn't want me to go, but he kept on sending me back to this guy that doesn't want to listen to me. All I said to them is like, give me 4 more years and I'll stay with Sundowns. This guy says, no, but we can only give you 5% increase. And I said, no ways. I want 100% increase. Chiefs then comes and say, we'll give you 100% increase.
Yeah.
Then I think I shouldn't have taken that. I love Chiefs, but I'm gonna be for real with you. You know, like, I'm gonna be for real with you. I wish Chiefs Sundowns could have given me that 100% because I could have stayed with Sundowns. But because I wanted to pay off certain stuff for me, because I could see, like, you know, I need to pay off a lot of stuff by the time my career is done. So Chiefs gave me the money and I left. Mr. Motsepe was angry. Do you know what I mean? So what is the question I was?
I was asking you. How Fitlanje? What is that like?
Yes,
or let me ask you this.
Yes.
How does your day change?
Yes. So I got there.
Yeah.
Yo. For Sundowns is supposed to be having like proper structure, but you know, guy. I know there was a structure, but never was a builder says topang like Nichurena or whatever, you know. But I thought now you go Nichurena top. Like, yo, I was a top, yeah. Ke tswa ko nyugong mara ka iso ai no wa bona re mo nyugong you know get there ba ka basket yawo you know
with
everything inside it, you know, start training, you know. I'm like, oh, this is the team that I've always, like, you know, supported as a youngster, you know. And I think the most ultimate thing that I saw, just the first derby that I had when I came out, Buffett's builder like FNB. I know FNB when it was still
when it was still open.
A kilometer before the ground row. Now the new FNB 94,000 fans.
Yeah,
I come out of the tunnel. No, I think the first game it was called Ren Stadium.
Ren
Stadium, people came out.
And Ren Stadium is small.
But it was packed.
Yeah.
You know, apparently because like I just signed and like you know people are excited and whatever. Yo, what a game.
Yeah.
And then the derby came. Yo, Stijo. That's when I was like, okay, no, Sundowns is a good team. Sundowns has got money, but nah.
It's different.
No,
it's different.
What? You like also tiny to like ke pagane itladitse fela grandstand.
Yeah.
Hey, batla itladitse grandstand pagania.
Mara.
Ki Chiefs so. Yo, Steve. That's when the thing in the Pranan Chala yona I can't explain the feeling. We are Chiefs, just playing for Chiefs. Nobody can really like describe it, but up until you are there. If Chiefs is giving you the money, and Sundowns don't want to give you the money, I don't want you to go, and whatever, but I wouldn't want to keep you away from, like, you know, feeling the feelings that I had when I was there with Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's something that you can take to the grave. It's one of the biggest things. You know.
Happy, but the thing is, you guys,
Yeah.
you know, I know we speak about pressure.
Yeah.
How did it manifest for you guys? Because, you know, the kids these days speak about social media. What trenda the following day when you've done something wrong. What was the pressure like for you guys? What was it like to, you know, you have a bad game, let's say. What happens the following day?
I hardly had lots of them. That's probably a few I would count, you know. But if I lost the game, I wouldn't be in the street. You have to understand, I grew up in an era that when I started playing 98,
Yeah.
I couldn't even afford a phone.
Yeah.
I didn't have a phone. There was no phones.
Yeah.
The phones were just coming in, like 97.
It's already
98.
pasa.
Yeah, or the 2410, the 2667. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember buying my first phone. It was a Motorola by flipping.
Oh, yeah.
Motorola in something shop kampama so relight. I bought it keep in the second hand. I bought that house second hand.
Yeah.
That was my first phone. There was no social media though. You know, but I'll tell you about me. I hated losing. You know, it didn't sit well with me. You know, and I don't understand people that would lose a game now and they go in bakotla bumbalo. Are you crazy?
I don't even want to.
You know, are you crazy? Is there something wrong with you, dog?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you just lost to somebody and like when we celebrate, lose it.
Yeah.
Even if you win now, Tiaka. My dad taught me one thing, or every time you play a game, and then you can go wherever.
Yeah.
And because I grew up in a strict family, my dad never used to allow me to go anywhere. So Kibono, growing up, all those principles that he taught me, or all the things that he taught me, they was just standard. Neketswa gaming, I didn't want to go out. I'll wake up just to go for a recovery. I don't understand people that professionals that would like lose a game and it's okay and you posting, you laughing about it. There's people that lose their lives.
Yeah. Hi, besides losing, Prajay,
Yeah.
I've never played for Chiefs in my life.
Yeah.
I've never been affiliated with the club directly.
Yeah.
When I Chiefs loser, you must see my comments. I don't even play for Chiefs.
Yeah.
You must see my comments. And people are like, what are you going to say now? Chiefs. And I'm like, I can only imagine what that's like as a player. When Rona were just affiliated because I like Chiefs, it's my favorite
And
team.
you're on social media. They're
And I'm on
gonna
social
come
media.
at you.
You know what I mean?
You get killed. Like, you know, this is not, people get into accidents. But guys leave the day before. Let's say there's a game on Saturday. People drive from Cape Town.
Yeah.
Cape Town does like 21 hours.
Yeah.
Taxing out here.
Yeah.
These are people who are spending the faming. Banka chelete abona by save just to come and see you play. People watch what they people die on the road. You know?
Yeah.
People love this team. And you go out there, you lose a ball and you smile. And you think they're gonna let you be? You can't. Not it can be Chiefs, it can be Pirates and whatever. You have to understand people invest so much into the game.
Yes.
All you gotta do, Stijo, is just to go out and give your all.
Yeah. Thank you.
How difficult can that be? Understand? Hence they get mad because they want the best. They want to see you doing the best.
Yeah.
That's all they want. You know? All you gotta do is train and play. Eat, train and play.
Yeah.
How difficult can that be?
Yeah.
It is difficult because you're competing against another guy that's training, maybe even tough, even harder than you. Do you know what I mean? So you can never. I don't understand people that would just go out and like, you know, baluzitse, batsamaye balona beer. You know, I come from a culture where the teams that I played for growing up, they would have beer in the changing room. Right? After the game, win or lose,
Yeah.
you'd handseli bua le shower letang le nwa di beer. Ba nwa di energy, ba nwa di cold drink, ba nwa metsi, gona le beer. Ha le tswa mo changing room, le nwe la ke.
Yeah.
Then you go home. Aleko di tlapong, aleko kai
Yeah.
kai. That's the culture that I know.
Yeah.
Overseas, it happens even overseas.
Yeah.
You get into a hot tub as part of the recovery after the game. Jacuzzi or whatever, you sit in there while you're having beer. So they cutting what you guys living here and going to other places because you can get into an accident.
Yeah.
Can get into an altercation where somebody's not happy with your performance.
Yeah.
You end up getting into trouble because you are at a place where you're not supposed to be. So I think I'm not saying people must drink or clubs must let these guys drink and whatever, but if you want to cap a lot of stuff, control. You see it more rugby. What rugby, it happens a lot. They drink beer after the game. Together.
It's like a Wednesday,
Do you know what I mean?
random
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's together.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but if you had to say that, go back to Matla, man, the player tsaka. Hence, that's why you go shapa Hennessy kaofela, shapa Hennessy kaofela. Kaosane like ha matha go tswa o setsa Hennessy kaofela because you don't control, you don't allow, teach these boys the right way to drink. You know, if he's already drinking, it is show him the right way to do it, the responsible way. You know what I mean? And I think then we wouldn't be losing like a whole lot of talent. There's a lot of talented players. By Lore. Bakawata keep the jack. And Rabafella Pilo. But if you had to see how overseas players drink, you'd be shocked. But you know why? They are protected.
I want to ask you, because you gave me a visual now. You're walking out on FNP. To all of that stuff. There's a thing they say, the Kaizer Chiefs jersey is heavy. But it's heavy. I want to understand, what does that mean? That it's heavy, and how do you deal with that?
Do well. Play well. You've been selected. You are one of the few that has worn that jersey. And the people before you that have worn that jersey, they've won hundreds of cups or trophies. Championships. Teenage Ladlas, Dr. Kumalos.
Mabheka phansi.
Max Maponyane. When o batlo tla dlala ka yona fela ona re ke toy. It's heavy, dog. It's heavy in a sense that you can never lie to the people. That's the thing about the game. The game will expose you. If you are a scam, it will prove it. You know, you can never lie and say you're good. Because the thing is, it's the consistency. These guys did it season out. You see now these boys can do well today, tomorrow they don't do well. You see there's always that dip, that wave and whatever. You know, the guys before us, they've done it. They've set the standard. I blame them. I blame them.
They made it an impossible mission.
I blame those guys for doing so well for Kaizer Chiefs that we can't literally get there. I didn't even touch the ceiling more. Those guys they've said it. You know what I mean? And I tried my best. I did my best, but I don't think I played what those guys before me did. Do you think the guys now? Can you believe the pressure by swearing now?
After 10 years,
After 10 years, and they get booed. They get booed. Can you imagine Matt? It's a mistake now. People they're losing the patience. Captain is not good enough. He's this and that. You can imagine as a captain, they're like, no, but why him? But because of maybe the age, he's older than he's an oldest player probably. I think go Timmy. Hence, I took to the umpire. But that comes with a whole lot of a whole lot of pressure. Kaizer Chiefs are easy attack.
How important is, because I've always said at Kaizer Chiefs, it's not the stats. It's not your if I put you on FIFA and I say run 76, he's got this. How important is personality?
Really key. And I think the people that are selecting the players, that's where they gotta start first. And I was telling you, how Lucas here, and you making decisions of buying certain players. Obele Lucas or whoever ex-player that played for Kaizer Chiefs, they would really tell you, attitude Antoinelle is not good for this. The mentality is strong enough. Yes, he's a good player, but so attitude is really, you see, a player like Omona Teko believed, he's like,
and he loves.
You want players say, I'm the best. What? Chiefs, he wants players like that. How about once we doubt, I'm spotting your turn.
You
doubting yourself.
And once you doubt yourself with the magnifying glass, Chiefs.
Do you understand? So attitude is really key. And I think self-belief is key. And some people can say it's arrogance and whatever, but I'd rather have an arrogant player that will go out there and really smack you if he says he's gonna smack you. Mayweather will tell you that I'm gonna smack you. And he'll do that. You need those type of players. Pirates, Chiefs, Sundowns. And
across the board.
Across the board,
I mean, you think about Patrice Motsepe, great captain, understood this thing, understood how to keep everybody in line. You think about Botabo Mooki, who maybe, yes, Tiki was, but he was reserved. Like, they absorbed that thing.
It was loved by Kasi High.
Yeah.
The young kids wanted to go see Madlala Kukasi.
Yeah.
So he came with so much in him already. He was a star already. By the time he stepped up, go Chiefs.
Yeah.
He could do nothing because he believed everything that he did.
Yeah.
Like, you know, was right. The Black Jesus.
Yeah. Oscar Gomez.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could see like that. He believes what is the best.
Yes.
And he was going to show you more fielding.
Yeah.
You know, where I know he didn't have a long career. You got Jabuta, you got Jimmy Tao.
Oh, Jimmy comes to Joe's number 2.
But I wanted to say Jabupule.
Yeah. When I was saying Shavla.
Shavule. Something else, you know? Shavule la chela na kitoke na mothanele na ba chayela 99 ra ke azwakala. I'm coming at you. Understand? So those are the type of players you want. And you're Junior Khanye, even though he had obviously his lifestyle like messed up his career.
Yeah.
Junior Khanye, like, those are the type of players you need for Kaizer Chiefs. Junior Khanye, you need those type of players. So clearly the person that's buying the players, obviously that's Junior, right? That's Kaizer Junior is doing it. He should know that. I mean,
yeah.
He's seen these players around him. He's gotta know what type of players he's gotta buy. Say, look, team DB to where it used to be. It's gonna take a long time. Obviously, they're still in the building process. You know what I mean? You're gonna try, fail up until you get the right ones. But do the fans have the patience for that?
I want to ask you on that. Do you think that? How much do you think, for example, Tate Motsepe coming out and saying, "Coach Pitso's mine"? Le complain, le kwa, but I'm backing this man. I'm backing these players. Do you think that exists at Kaizer Chiefs? Do you think that, or should it, or is it just the culture is different?
It should. No. It should be.
Okay.
The players are the ones that are bringing in the money, bruh. You might be the one that's paying them, but without them, yes, you are the businessman. But without the players, there's no team. Without the fans, there's no support. But if as a manager you have to understand that, put your players first.
Yeah.
Take care of your players. Rightfully so. If they don't do well, you can chuck them out and say, I'll pay you well, I'll do whatever, I don't want you anymore in the team because you don't give you what I give you. So Mr. Motsepe can come out and say those type of things because he's paying you well. And he'll tell you, I pay you well. So that tomorrow if you don't do well, I can chuck you out.
Yeah.
And go look for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've given you the full chance.
Full chance so that I can if you can't do it, I'm gonna go and get somebody else that can do the job that I want you to do because you can't do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we can't, there's no substitute for that. You know what I mean? You pay me, I play. I don't play, you get rid of me and go look for somebody else.
Yeah.
So Mr. Motsepe knew that he paid Coach Pitso. He gave him the freedom and said, run it, this is the money, go get what you want. It wasn't easy as much as he started, it was difficult.
Yeah.
But once he started producing,
Mr.
Motsepe stepped back. But once things things started not going well, what happened? That's the nature of business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when he was winning, he could say, that's mine. My players are mine. This coach is mine. But there's nobody that's going to sit there and say, this is mine, or this is my boy if you're not doing well. People always, Mr. Motsepe, he loves winners. He's a winner himself.
Yeah.
Hence he believes in whatever that, if he believes in something, he's going to go and spend money on it. If he doesn't believe in it, he's not going to do it. I mean, do you see any sponsors here?
Ubuntu.
I can see big man, but
high.
Are anybody anybody who do most keep inside, they have to literally give him a lot of money. He spends a lot of money, so he doesn't believe somebody's gonna come with 100 million.
Yeah.
And jazz or whatever. Yeah. Because he says, I spend so much money. So if you are gonna be on my thingy more, times 10 what I'm spending. And I understand where he's coming from. And it's gotta go across the board, you know, the Kaizer Chiefs, Pirates and whatever. I would like you.
In that, like I said with Coach Pitso, there's a lot of social media pressure and things like that.
Yeah.
How would you have done in the social media age?
Back then?
Yeah. If I were to take you as a player back then,
So let me
into
tell you something,
2025.
right? So I don't like people knowing about my life. I'm really private about my life. I don't want people knowing about what I'm driving, where I'm eating. Yeah, I'm having like, you know, a glass of champagne. I'm having That's not me.
Yeah.
But I had to change that. Right? I had to change that because now I realized that it's part of our life now. Social media is part of our life. Like social media can bring you business and all those type of things. And somebody was like, you can't live like this if you want to be on TV. Because some people will come in and say, post this, post that. Can you imagine if I started my social media
that's what I'm like.
I'll be far.
Yeah.
Because there were guys that used to be on social media. I'll be like, hey, social media alone. I started late.
Yeah.
But I would have used, I'm different because I would have used my social media differently. You would hardly see me posting my family. We're on holiday, what I'm driving, my house. Everything that I would post would be about the game.
Yeah.
If I was training, I would post me training, showing people that I'm training. If there's a game, a Sundowns Chiefs game is coming up, I'll post the game.
Yeah.
That, you know, guys come and support. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was sponsored by Hamel in Denmark. I would be posting more my sponsor. You know what I mean? That's it. You know, so I'll be using
for business.
You know what I mean? I would totally be using it differently from a lot of boys what they posting right now.
Do you think, just as we close, do you think this would have changed now in retirement, or changed how you would have approached retirement?
Yeah.
Because firstly, I just want to know, what is that first day like, and the first week, and the first month when you say I'm done?
Well, let me. I didn't say I'm done. Somebody decided for me. Some hateful person decided for me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, you know, I could have still given Chiefs like 4 years. So I didn't say I was done. So I sat on a bench for a year, but because somebody's ego, was before the team, he didn't want the team to. Look, I could have given Chiefs a whole lot, but somebody just wanted to prove a point to me that, you know, I couldn't play. You know, and I had to accept it. And I never came out in social media or on media and saying that this and this and this guy destroyed me. There is somebody that destroyed my career. Unfortunately, I can't pick myself to play. And it's somebody that always has to select the team. So it is. I would have loved to be like the Teko Modises, the Jimmy Taus that had a conference and say I'm done. But for me, it was that senior. Let me say. That legend, or like, you know, the people that laid the foundation for us, that was evil, that made sure that he destroys JOSTA for his own ego.
Yeah.
Like we spoke about the how important is it to have like
the Grootman
and whatever. So unfortunately, I had a Grootman that really destroyed, that didn't want to see me. But what did he do? He actually denied a lot of people seeing JOSTA giving Chiefs even more. Yes. And like, you know, even like, you know, the last days that he had in his career.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I'm not bitter about it. I would never name the guy, you know, and I hope, like, you know, he's happy wherever he is. But I was the unfortunate one who got the bad guy in the game.
Lastly, very quickly, what advice would you give to other players now that you're retired and now that you've got podcasts and things? What would you advise players with as a Grootman?
Just stay focused, bruh. Like, stay focused. You get a chance. We always pray for that chance. Make sure when you get that chance, you are ready for it. You know, we always want that chance, but nobody ever asks for God to give them the wisdom to deal with that chance when they get it.
True.
So make sure when that chance comes in, you don't say, I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
When it comes in, you jump in like, you know, head first. Because you might never get another chance. And while you are in there, it's not easy. They're lying to you when they say it's easy. Being a public figure comes with a whole lot of responsibility. Comes with be it like, with your life, decision making. Are you gonna carry on working hard? You gotta even work harder when you're in there. When you're outside, you can get away with it, but when you're in, it's even harder. Just be you. And one thing is, once you get that opportunity, times run so quickly. You think you got 20 years, and 20 years is nothing. When you blink, your 20 years is done.
Yeah.
But make sure you left the legacy, your family name, because we wanted to do that. I wanted to be that person that years later, when I'm walking down the street, people still remember me and still talk about me, about the game, and me. So just go out there and just be you, enjoy it. Because once it's done, it's done. It's never coming back. That's all I can say.
And speaking about a blink, I thought I was going to have Prajay here for 45 minutes. Now we've gone to an hour 30. I just want to end this by saying thank you to our friends again over at Lays, because without them, all of this is not possible. Now, remember that they still have a competition that's running based on the UEFA Champions League. If you just scan this little barcode at the top of the packs that you have, you could go out and win Take a Lot vouchers with 250 Rand or even a flat screen TV. So remember, get yourself a packet of Lays and anything is possible with Lays there. And remember, no Lays, no game. Guys, it's been the George Mokoena podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you to Prajay for being with me. I've been thanks
to Lace again.
And check out Prajay's podcast. Isn't just a game.
It's just a game, but you can find me on YouTube, on Spotify. You can also find me on mtnfc.co.za, where you can win some few prizes as well.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Look in the description. There will be more details about this, and we'll go from there. I'll see you guys on the next one. Sharp, guys.